Hi everyone. Okay, so today I was actually making another live, and then I was like, do you know what we need? Scary stories, because I love them. Anyway, so let's just, and we're going to um okay. There's no, do not make any noise. Shh. Okay. So okay. Well, this is not from r/ Let's Not Meet. This is actually from r/ Ask Reddit. Okay, so what is your scariest true story? Okay. When I was young, I would say 8, 11 ish, my sister, whom is 7 years older than me, would babysit me when my parents were out. At the time, she smoked a lot, and my parents made her smoke outside, of course. So I'd follow her outside into the carport, which faced the street, and play around, annoy her, and such. One day, my sister notices a car at the end of the driveway, just sitting in the road. It's a white SUV, I believe a mid-90s Bravado, not sure, with a bike rack on top. It has the most tinted windows I have ever seen. You could not see inside from the side. It sat there until she went out inside. Then we would drive to the end of the road and sit at the church parking lot and wait. Wait until she would come out again for another smoke, and it would repeat this. Odd, but my sister is a brave lady and just kind of ignored it. That is, until the next day when my parents were out again and it showed up again. It would sit at the end of the driveway and just watch. I don't know what the driver was doing, but he was watching my sister. If I didn't go out, I would watch from the front window and it would just sit there and watch my sister. She told my father, who was a sheriff deputy at the time, and he called the cops and made a complaint. They showed up, looked around, but the SUV was nowhere to be seen. Months went by and nothing. Then one day, a good 9 months after this had all started, in 4-ish, since the next sighting, it was back. It became a regular occurrence. Another day, my sister was outside doing her nasty habit, and sure enough, here it comes. This time we were alone as usual, and she decides she's had enough. She tells me to stay in the carport, and she's going to go confront them. She starts walking towards the SUV, and halfway down the driveway, she will later remark to us, I felt utter terror, like I knew if I went any further, I was dead. I was paralyzed by pure fear. She turned around and went inside. Finally, the family car was in the shop for some kind of issue, so we were all stuck home for the night and had to get delivery. While my parents are home, my sister goes outside to smoke. I go outside with her, and eventually the SUV shows up. She tells me to run inside and tell my father, and I do. My dad promptly gets his gun and starts briskly walking down the SUV way with it in hand in the direction of the SUV, but not leveled towards it. The SUV floored it down the road and peeled out onto the nearby large highway. My dad, being a cop, noted the year and model and distinguishing features. The scariest think the license plate had been covered in duct tape. We never saw it again, and my sister just kind of shrugs it off now. That is very scary. That is very scary indeed. That's like. Okay, what's now? Oh, that's scary. Okay. So there's one called The Bridge. This was going to be short, but the memory sprung into my mind a couple a couple days back, and I thought it would be worth sharing. I live in North Wales. Now go away. No, go away, honestly. Go away. Nah, I don't care, go away. I live in North Wales, UK. For anyone who has had the pleasure of visiting, it truly is a beautiful place to live. So, for an adolescent boy, it is certainly lacking in things to do. Good. Now go. As a result, my friends and I would often find ourselves mindlessly exploring areas of countryside and coastline. Despite it being quite sparsely populated in comparison to the closest cities, there is a dual carriageway running right along the coast from Wales into England. Also, train tracks run alongside this road for most of its course, occasionally passing overhead via a small cement bridge. Anyway, there was one night a few years ago when about four of us randomly decided to try and explore the inside of one of these bridges. As one of the group had observed a manhole cover nearby which we believed to be the entrance. On closer inspection, we discovered that several tools would be required in order to gain entry. We returned with the necessary equipment and proceeded to unbolt the cover. Sorry, my cats keep fighting. This had to be done stealthily, as the track was right beside us, not close enough to be of any danger, but definitely a sufficiently small distance to cause panic for any train driver, and panic usually means police. It wasn't long before we had removed the heavy steel disc and had started descending the ladder down into the structure. Once we had all safely reached the bottom, we decided to progress to the other side. At this point, we are totally confined into the narrow space that leads into the main area. If you are confused as to what the hell this bridge is supposed to be, you probably should be, because it was rather peculiar. I mean, I would have never known there was even an inside had we not found the manhole. So, as we squeeze and crouch, and at one point scrape along our bellies to the other side of the structure, there is a growing sense of claustrophobia between us. The distance from end to the other is surprisingly long, but by the halfway point you can look down through narrow gaps onto the motorway below. This was actually pretty cool, which helped us keep us calm in a strange way. At this point, apart from the mild discomfort and confinement, we were still just a group of guys on an adventure. This was about to change dramatically. No more than a few meters beyond, halfway, which we could tell due to the symmetry of the passageway through the bridge, one of us claimed they could see some object in the distance at the far end. Slightly hesitantly, we agreed to investigate, bad move. Oh my god. I reached the end first, and let me tell you, I have never felt the same sense of dread before or since. In front of me was a single fold away chair positioned facing a wall. On the wall was a partially torn page from a newspaper or magazine showing a full naked lady in an erotic position. The reason I don't just refer to it as PORN is because something was different about it. I can't put my finger on it, but it seemed more sinister than sexy, if that makes any sense. More disturbingly, the eyes of the woman on display had been cut from the page, removed with precision, not just hastily ripped off. The scene that lay before us had rendered us completely speechless, and an overpowering sense of panic could be felt collectively. This was when we found the condom, the horrendous, gut-wrenching, blood-drenched condom. Needless to say, we got the fuck out of there as fast as humanly possible, smashing our knees and shins against the sharp cement edges that lined the path to the ladder by which we had entered. Of course, we were all praying to God that the manhole hadn't been resealed, as it was impossible to tell until you reached the ladder itself. Thankfully, the exit route was clear, and we promptly dashed as far away as our legs could carry us. I'm sure this ending comes as a disappointment to some of you reading this, as we luckily never bumped into the twisted individual who sits in that chair, but I must stress how radically out of the norm it was given where I live. The reason I mentioned the population earlier was with purpose. There is easily enough people here to escape the realms of crazy country folk, yet nowhere near enough people to have someone clearly lose grip on society without somebody taking notice. For example, there was literally only one homeless man who everyone in the area knew and grew fond of, eventually resulting in a mass gathering at his funeral when he passed away. I sometimes think, though not recently as I had more or less forgotten about that night entirely, about the person who climbs down into that bridge and navigates through the darkness to sit facing a wall and do God knows what, that ends up with a condom full of blood. You honestly couldn't envision a more surreal situation. It has just come to my realization that what we unearthed that night has not once been uttered to another soul. As a naive teenager, it was a type of thing that you just wanted to forget. But thinking about, we probably should have let the police or at least someone know about what was down there, because it wasn't the doings of a healthy minded individual. So there you have it. Apologies for the length. I got a little carried away as it is my first Let's Not Meet post, and I wanted. Oh my god, there are photos. Oh, that's scary. Oh my god. Anyway, it's like not really. Yeah, anyway. Oh my god, they went back. Early yesterday evening, a friend and I decided to embark on the revisit to this awful place in the hope of finding some remnants of the twisted scene that had been stumbled upon several years ago. We were not disappointed; if anything, it was even worse than I had imagined. Aside from what you will see in the photos, the general environment within the bridge structure is practically uninhabitable and stomach-turning to say the least. The amount of dust in the passageways is actually quite unbearable, and that is nothing compared to the constant stench that must be endured. Also, the heat didn't help the situation either. I won't ramble on, but I must express how vulnerable you feel when navigating through the tunnels. Even with two of us, both carrying appropriate weaponry, the sense of evil was overpowering. The tension is amplified tenfold by the fact that, had we encountered someone or something, the layout of the structure and the multiple tight squeezes mean a safe, speedy exit is nigh or impossible. It truly is a hellhole. Oh my, okay. Let's see. That is so scary though. Like, imagine you just like look and okay, so basically there was a bed, a padlock, a used candle, random piece of rope, empty stuff of milk. I guess it was filled with pee, and human feces. Crime scene. A room. A knife. You pictures. Magazine pages. Nail. Another candle. And a chair. Oh my god. It's really scary. Jesus. That is scary. Like, really scary. Okay. You know what? Let's do a bit of Am I the Asshole? Because it's a bit scary. Let's go. Am I the Asshole? Okay. Let's go. So, let's take a look at the new ones. Am I the asshole for not letting my girlfriend dance with a girl? Um, I, 19M, went to a birthday party at a restaurant with my girlfriend, 19F. I will call her Alice. We were at the dance floor, and at some point, a girl named Sarah, which is an old friend of the birthday girl, who lived abroad and came in the country for holidays, and also a lesbian, started dancing with my girlfriend. I don't know how girls are dancing in other countries, but here, Balkan area, girls frequent dance kind of sensual, I would say. For example, grabbing each other waists and dancing on each other's neck and getting lower and lower. I think you got the point. So Sarah grabbed my girlfriend and tried to dance like that with her, and I gently made a sign for Alice to stop dancing with her and explained later why I did that. She only said okay and didn't seem upset or arguing with me over this. The main reason for not letting them dance is because I don't know how being gay works, and I just thought that if I am into girls as a man and she is also into girls, I associated this with her dancing like that with a man. Some minutes after, another girl came and danced with Alice in the exact same way, and I didn't care at all. It was just a feeling that she may see my girlfriend with my eyes if it makes sense. For the record, I don't have a problem with being gay. I can make a conversation with anyone from LGBT, but I just considered the possibility of her being attracted to my girlfriend. I'm writing this post only from my concern. We didn't talk about that since it happened, and Sarah didn't notice my sign or talked about that with someone else. Mm, yeah, kind of. It's her being a lesbian does not mean that she's into your girlfriend. Um, mm, let's find. Oh, too long. Let's find another one. Yeah, not the asshole. Okay, so basically it was like someone. Sorry, I was like reading. Oh, I found one. Am I the asshole for trying to give advice on my friend's artwork? My friend messaged me with a piece of art that they'd been working on and asked me what I thought about it, if I had any ideas, and if it should change anything. I looked at it for a while and then messaged back saying that I thought it looked good but could also look better, and then gave some advice for what I thought could do that. I put my phone away and didn't really think about it for a while, but then my friend messaged back hurling swear words and calling me an asshole, saying that I should have just told them that it looked great and left it at that. Another friend, Mark, was next to me at the time, and I asked them what they thought about it. He gave a sort of shrug and told me that I should have just said it looked amazing. I thought it was a little weird and said that they asked for my advice and that all I did was give it to them. Mark shrugged again and came up with the idea of asking this subreddit. So we ask you, am I the asshole? Mm, I would say not the asshole, honestly. But like, if it's a friend, maybe say it's perfect. Because some people just don't like they don't like their work being criticized. Okay, so oh my god. Am I the asshole for slowly tossing my 19M friend's 20F liquor and cigarettes each time I visit her? I've known this girl, Penny 20F, for 13 years all the way up to now, starting from having the same class together in elementary. I used to have a huge crush on her ever since then, and I still do, to be honest, but she rejected me back in freshman year of high school. Anyway, we were close as friends for a while until I dropped out of high school in junior year to take care of my dad, who ended up passing away suddenly when I was 17 due to health issues. Since then, I was distant from everyone, but I recently reconnected with this girl after a while. I was going through a hard time last month with my grandmother dying, and I truly see her as my therapist. Oh my god. She's very different from when I last hung out with her. I miss when she had lighter hair. She's different. What concerns me is she smokes pot, cigarettes, and drinks, and apparently she's been doing it for over a year. I always promised my dad I would never do that stuff no matter what, and because I care about her and she's really my only friend I can trust and talk to, I don't want to lose her to that stuff. She's not an addict, but because if she was, her mom wouldn't be buying all this for her. But it does bother me. What I don't understand is why she has a bottles of perks. Oh, Percocet. Okay, maybe. She got out of a bad relationship recently, but I don't know how she ended up doing all this stuff. Not sure if the Percocet are hers. I've been inviting myself over to her place often just because I hate being home. It just reminds me too much of my problems. She has a ton of liquor and empty wine and liquor bottles. It honestly scares me. I've asked her how much she drinks and she says whatever she feels like, but mainly a pint of vodka and a few shots of Captain Morgan and maybe a few beers, and she drinks almost every day. Okay, so she's fun like that, and I totally joined her, but I promised my family I'll never get into the stuff. I calmly told her that she's a good friend to me and mentioned I lost my aunt to smoking. She looked sympathetic, and I told her to quit. She said she'll try, but then the next visit I saw her bag still in her purse, and she still had liquor in her house. As I asked her why she still had that if she quit, she said she forgot. I sometimes wish she didn't work where she works at because I feel the restaurant industry ruined her. Next visit, I decided when she left the room, I'd take 4 cigarettes out and pour a little bit of liquor from each bottle in the sink. I did this for a second visit, but she actually caught me doing it that second time, and I never saw her so furious before. She literally yanked the bottle from my hand and asked me what I was doing. I was too shocked to respond because she's never raised her voice at me before. I texted her saying I just care about her and don't want her doing this because everyone around me. Okay, so basically, this dude is just making everything about him. Like, she's my only friend, I don't want to lose her. Guilt, guilt tripping that poor girl. My aunt died because she smoked. Dude, stop it. Yeah, everyone is saying you're the asshole. Okay, that's. You're the asshole. I honestly still think he has a crush on her. Okay, you know what? Let's go to sleep. I mean, not me, you. Bye bye.